Hi, I'm Sawyer Vorosky, and this video is going to be called My Experience with Cancer. And I just want to say right off, number one, thank you for joining me on this video. I appreciate it. I honor your time. I honor your attention, and because there's trillions of videos that you could be watching, and you're watching this video, so I just want to say I appreciate that. I appreciate you, and I want to give you something of value, okay? First off, I want to say I personally never had cancer, okay, but I feel that I've had an experience with it. My mother was diagnosed right when I turned 16, and I lived with her the entire time that she struggled with the disease, which was a little over 5.5 years until she unfortunately passed away. So I saw a lot, and I experienced a lot with her. I saw what a cancer patient goes through, and she had a lot of friends. She met a lot of people through her treatments and through, the groups that she was involved with, because there's a lot of groups that come up, right? The March for Breast Cancer, and there's tons of recovery programs for people. So she met a lot of people, and just the people that she met going to the treatment centers. And I got to interact with those people, and I got to go to her doctor visits, and I got to take her to the ER on occasions and see her after the surgeries. And so I'm just saying, I saw a lot, and it was my experience. It was my experience. I experienced cancer with her. I didn't have it, and I'm not saying, I don't want anybody to be offended thinking, you don't know what it's like to have it, and I don't, okay? So please, nobody get offended at thinking that I know what it's like to have it personally, because I don't. I've never had it. I don't know what that's like, but I have seen a lot of people. I've read a lot about it, and I've experienced a lot firsthand by somebody who was very close to me, my own, who had it. And so I just want to share some things that might be valuable to you if you have cancer, if you know somebody who has cancer, if maybe you're worried about someday getting cancer. Then I want to hopefully share some things that will be valuable to you, that will help you hopefully put your mind at ease, and give you some just a better perspective on the disease. And so in this video, I'll talk a bit about my mom's experience, what we went through during that time. And there's going to be a lot of similarities to a lot of other cancer stories. That's the point of making this video, is that there are a lot of similarities between people who are diagnosed and go through the treatments and what they experience. And, so that's why I feel that I could share something of value to you, because this is a big problem. 1 in 3 women today are predicted to get cancer. 1 in 2 men are predicted to get cancer. It's an epidemic, and we have a lot of focus on breast cancer, and that's, great, but where's the focus on prostate cancer? It affects men more than breast cancer affects women, and what is the deal with these reproductive type of organs, the prostate in men and then the breast in women? What's causing this, to attack these kind of private areas, of the human body, areas that are involved with reproduction? And so that's very interesting. Why is that occurring? There's a lot of questions, and I'm probably going to share some frustrations and things that came up through the experience that just I don't feel are good. There's a lot of things that the cancer industry is just terrible, does very poorly. There's a lot of problems that I have with medical doctors and the way that they treat people and treat the disease of cancer. And there's basically a propaganda machine about what cancer is, what causes it, and your treatment options. And I hope to share something with you, again, to put your mind at ease, to let you know that you have options, okay? This is the big, huge problem with people with cancer. My mom went through it, and many other people go through it too. So I saw it firsthand. I didn't learn my mom had cancer until she was out of the operating room or out of the surgery, and I came and visited her in the hospital. That's when I found out that she had stage 4 breast cancer, and she had already begun treatments before I even found out. How many people do you think go through that? How many people do you think get the diagnosis and get pressured into going into treatments almost immediately. Well, it happens a lot. And that's one of the big points of this video, is I want to help people know you have options. Okay, first of all, I need to make another disclaimer before I jump into all this stuff. I am not a medical, personnel, medical doctor. I'm not involved with medicine in any way. Practice of medicine today, like standard care. I'm not a doctor, and nothing in this video is about medical advice. I'm not even talking about that. I have nothing to do with disease, So, none of the FDAs or USDAs or AMAs or whatever the heck else, hopefully we can all be cool, because I ain't saying nothing about, about what you should do. I'm not giving advice, okay? I'm just trying to share some information for you to consider, to try to help you, and that people need to know. Because today a lot of people in the health field, they can't even really say the word cancer. They can't even say the word cancer. They want to help you, but they can't even say it. But I figure, since I'm under the radar and I'm not saying anything, giving any advice, that I could say that word and we could talk about it, because that's what we just need to talk about it. What's going on? So, number one, we need to be able to talk about cancer, and all people need to be able to talk about it. They don't need to be making claims or anything, but we need to be able to talk about it openly, because it's a funny, a good little thing called free speech. Some people need to get on the free speech train. You know what I'm saying? Because we have a lot of people in our society today who are against free speech, and that will not fly at all. It will not work. It's not going to happen. So I guess this video is about also just championing free speech. Anyways, so my mom, she was diagnosed with stage 4, which means that it was metastasized, meaning it's in 2 locations at least. She was diagnosed with breast cancer with metastases in the bone. And bone cancer is pretty serious, in the medical community. They don't really have good rates of curing. And I learned a lot of stuff about what their cures mean. Last I checked, cure meant 5 years. If you survived with cancer for 5 years, you're a survivor. Okay? In my view, that's not a survivor. Okay? You're only a survivor if now you're healthy and vibrant and you live on a full, the rest of your life. That's a survivor. Not somebody who's just had cancer and they made it past the 5-year mark. That's retarded. Okay? And another thing is, remission simply means it did not grow that month. So my mom was in remission many times, and we wanted to celebrate and be happy. Oh, the cancer is going away. But all that means is it didn't grow. And, like I said, my mom passed away after about 5.5 years of cancer, which is a lot longer than most people would last with her condition. Some people with her condition, they would die within a couple months. There's so many things to share. I'm trying to pack in so many things in this short little video. So she started treatments almost immediately, and that's what I want to hopefully encourage people, is I think that it's wrong for medical doctors to put this pressure on people to get these treatments immediately, because the fact of the matter is if you get diagnosed with cancer, you're not going to die tomorrow. It's likely you're not going to die tomorrow, unless you have maybe some sort of extremely advanced pancreatic cancer or some sort of situation that you might die tomorrow if you don't get some sort of treatment. Again, no medical advice. I'm just saying, I'm trying to just share my view. If somebody would get cancer, I think it would be very good to just take a breath, take a moment, relax, get into a state of balance within yourself, of peace, of quiet, and hopefully gratitude, and some sort of happy mood, because you can be in a happy mood. People might be offended at what I just said, say, how can I be happy? I just got a cancer diagnosis. Well, look, are you just going to be upset and depressed the whole time you get a cancer, after you've been diagnosed with cancer? Or are you going to try to, because you can, what I'm saying is the possibility exists for you to be happy wherever you're at, the possibility exists for you to experience joy and gratitude about something. Do you have kids that you love? Do you have a hobby that you really are interested in? Do you have there's got to be something that could bring joy to you. Just go out on the mountain or go to the ocean, or I'm just encouraging people, if you get that diagnosis, please try to do something to get you into a calm, relaxed state before you end up making a decision to jump right into chemo, radiation, and surgery. Because that's what medical doctors, largely in the medical system, offers people is chemo, radiation, and surgery. And, those are poisons. They're poisons. That's not my opinion either. Those are all of them are known to be carcinogenic, okay? Potentially carcinogenic. Some people go through the treatments and they completely are cured and they go on to live a full life. My grandmother, she had breast cancer decades ago, but you know what? She's healthy as heck. She really she went through the chemo. I think she got the surgery and I don't know if she did radiation, but her treatments didn't last long. I think maybe she went through like one round or something and she was back to it. But my grandma has a hardcore will to live, and she has a hardcore determination and basically self-confidence. She has self-esteem, which is largely lacking in a lot of people with cancer. And again, some of these statements might be offensive. I'm trying to help. I'm not trying to offend you, okay? Just get that out of the way right away. But the fact of the matter is a lot of people who get cancer have serious self-esteem issues. They don't feel that they're even adequate to live life. They feel that they're a burden. They don't feel up for the challenges of life. They feel burdened, overwhelmed, by the demands of living. Is that true for you if you have cancer? Is that true for somebody else that you know? Because I've seen it. My mom was like that. She didn't want to be a burden to people. And when you say that and you feel like, I don't want to be a burden, you're feeling like you are a burden. Because somebody who's not a burden to other people wouldn't even think that way. They don't even think, I don't want to be a burden, because they're just not. They're not a burden. And if they need help, they'll receive help. Again, this is something that I think a lot of people with cancer struggle with, is receiving help. Just surrendering and receiving the blessings and the gifts and the help that is there, that's available. So in my research and in the experience that I had through all the years, through the 5.5 years that my mom had cancer, I went through a lot of phases. I researched a ton. I wanted to help her out so much. I just wanted to help her. I wanted to, make her life easier, make it better, relieve the stress. And that's what I want to do for you. But I've grown a lot and I've learned some different things and I have a lot different perspective. So one thing that I want to say that I don't think is helpful for anybody dealing with cancer and for anybody even involved in health, because this video is not necessarily just about cancer. I'm trying to share a lot of things about health, being healthy too, because I want to see you be healthy. I want to see all of us be healthy. I want to be healthy. I love health. That's why I'm sharing this. And like I shared earlier, 1 in 3 gonna get cancer? Are you kidding? 1 in 2 men gonna get cancer? This is a joke. What are we doing? And the medical system, we're searching for the cure. Race for the cure and donate for the cure. I don't donate to none of those. And I'm not racing. Okay? And I don't even believe that they're gonna find the cure. My faith, my hope is not even in that at all. Because they've proven, basically they started a war on cancer. I think it was like in the early 70s. A war on cancer. The president declared it. It was like a national emergency or whatever. War on cancer. Well, we're still treating it basically the same ways. And if you talk to some medical doctors, they'll try to tell you that that's not true, that our chemo's gotten more targeted, and less severe, and the side effects are lessened. Yeah, but it's still chemo. But whatever. A lot of medical doctors, they're on their own trip. You know what I mean? They have such heavy egos. It's ridiculous, and it's sad. It's sad for them, and it's sad for the people that they treat. And guess what? They get a kickback for recommending chemo, radiation, and surgery. They get like a profit, It's like they're like salesmen. Oh yeah, you're going to get some chemo, and I get a little cut out of it. Even though when cancer doctors are polled, the overwhelming majority of them would not recommend it to their kids or anybody in their family, and they wouldn't even get it themselves. But they're recommending it to people? This is a joke! And I'm trying to tell you because I don't want you to suffer the same fate that my mom went through and a lot of other people go through. Because it hurts people. It's hurting people. And cancer doctors are bad people for doing that. I don't care if you get offended at that. Don't you think that that's wrong to recommend something to somebody else that's going to give them harm that you wouldn't even take yourself or give to your family? Don't you see the harm that you're doing and the wrong? Frickin' wake up. Medical doctor, it's a medical doctor. You're not a medical deity, okay, with your white coat. People worshiping these people. And my mom was, she put all her hope and faith and trust in the doctor, and she did everything the doctor said. She was what you would call a good patient. And what I'm saying, and I'm not saying this, okay? I'm referencing Bernie Siegel, who's an oncologist, cancer doctor, who's been dealing with it for decades, okay? One of the most senior cancer docs in America. Written some phenomenal books. And what he told in his book is that the good patients do way worse than the bad patients. Good patients are the ones who listen to every order that their doctor tells them. They go to all their appointments. They get all their treatments on time. They don't really ask too many questions. They don't show too much doubt in their doctor. They trust them. Those are the good patients. Okay? The bad patients, according to Bernie Siegel, are the ones that challenge their docs. They ask the questions. They show some doubt. Skepticism, maybe. They might not even get the treatments at all. They might miss some treatments. These are the bad patients. And these ones do way better, according to Bernie Siegel. And he knows what he's talking about because he's read a lot of, he's a cancer doctor, and he's led a lot of cancer groups, dealt with thousands, tens of thousands probably of cancer patients. So I think that he knows a little bit about what he's talking about. And other doctors. And he had some very interesting things to say about doctors. One thing is that he says, because I've heard this a lot, that doctors will tell people, yeah, it doesn't really matter what you eat. They'll literally tell people that. Oh, you have colitis? It doesn't matter what you eat. Go get a cheeseburger. I know a doctor literally told him that. Go get a McDonald's. Because it has nothing to do with what you're eating. You're an imbecile if that's what you think. And my mom never had any nutritional recommendations from her doctor. I don't even think it was ever brought up. Her exams were basically a joke. They would go in there and I don't know what they would do, but everything's looking great. Even though I'm living with my mom and I know she's not doing that good, okay? She's not doing well. But the doctor, everything's going good. Let's just keep with the course. We're going to keep getting these treatments. And then, a couple months before my mom passed away, the doc says, there's nothing more we could do. And before that, about a year before my mom passed, the doctor told her, and I was here for this. I was here for the appointment. The doctor told her that she probably wouldn't make it till the next summer. And my mom was very distressed. She was crying. Can you imagine being told that? That you're probably not going to make it till next summer and there's not much more we can do for you, that the treatments aren't really working. Coming from somebody who you've put all your trust in, your doctor, your medical doctor. You know how devastating that is? And guess what? A lot of people who are told that by their doctors, they die right on time. They don't make it to next summer. Or if they say they have 2 months, they a lot of times check out in 2 months. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? And my question is it because the doctor's so damn smart that they know exactly when you're going to die? Or is it because this patient really had a lot of trust in their doctor, and that they said that they put so much weight, that was so heavy on their psyche, that they actually ended up manifesting their own death in that time? And I think it's the second option rather than the first. I don't think the medical doctors are that damn smart. They have high IQs, but a lot of them don't have high EQs, emotional intelligence. They're very retarded in many cases when it comes to emotional intelligence. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to bash on doctors, okay, or nurses in the medical system. But we have to acknowledge that our medical system is causing a lot of harm. I mean, try to look up the numbers of people that die each year directly due to medical-induced death. It's called iatrogenic disease, and that means directly caused by medical care they died. Whether it's from their drugs taken as prescribed and it killed them, or they got a surgery and it killed them, or they died from some sort of infection they caught while they were in the hospital, you know, or some other, you know, medically, or they got the wrong surgery, the wrong treatments, or whatever it is. Do you know there's a lot of people who are misdiagnosed with cancer, and they get cancer treatments and they never even had cancer in the first place? Because they rush into these damn treatments, and that's why I'm trying to tell you, relax. Please, for the love of God, just take a moment and breathe. And I know it's hard. I know it might be tough, you know. But you've got to know that you have options and you have a choice. And there's other ways to go than the medical system. And I'm sure that I could probably get in trouble for saying something like that in today's world. But this is unacceptable. We have to be able to present options of treatments, don't we? Or do you think the only way is the medical way? We have to talk about all the options. Medical doctors largely are not seeing people as holistic. They see the cancer as the tumor. Oh, that's the cancer right there. You see? That's not the cancer. That's the freaking symptom. That's the outgrowth. That's the manifestation of the cancer. The cancer has been in development for years, probably. And you're going to attack a tumor and think that you're making progress? See, it's a whole mentality. It's a whole philosophy, I guess, on health that the medical doctors, many of them, don't have. And I do want to say there's a ton of medical doctors who are amazing people, and they're doing so much good, you know? And if I ever got my arm severed or shot or stabbed or frickin' in a car wreck, I'm going straight to the medical care. You know what I mean? But if I have a chronic disease, like some sort of immunological disease or chronic skin condition, or even cancer or diabetes or whatever, I'm trying to look, these chronic lifestyle diseases, I'm trying to look at all my options, and I'm trying to get to the root. I'm trying to dig deep. You know, I'm trying to realize, get to what has caused this exactly. Because the medical doctors are not telling you what caused it. Oh, we don't know. A lot of things cause it. It's so complex. It's different for everybody. They say these types of things. And it's like, well, by saying that, you're not helping anybody. Because we can pinpoint there are similarities between people who have cancer. Okay? And this is the very interesting piece of research that is worthwhile, is to look at what are the similarities between people who have cancer. What are the commonalities? Are there any? Of course there are. One big one is a lot of people with cancer, they have fungal infections like candida, or just different dysbiosis, GI dysbiosis. They have fungal parasites, in their body, parasites in their blood. But when you go to get the treatments from the medical doctor, they don't even make one mention of it. Because that doesn't matter. That has nothing to do with your cancer. Do you think that makes sense? I'm not trying to tell anybody how to think. I'm just asking you and trying to hopefully get you to think for yourself, to ask the questions. Because ultimately, I believe if you're going to heal, it's going to be up to you. You might have some help. You're going to have some help and receive the help. But the will to live, your determination to live, your determination to get to the root and figure this thing out, That's going to be the determining factor. Again, Bernie Siegel, what he talked about, what he called for is patients who take an active participation in their treatments. You don't want to be the patient who just says, oh yeah, whatever doc, whatever you say, I'll take the meds. As long as I can keep living my lifestyle and thinking how I think and eating how I eat and all this, I'll take the meds. Those people are going to have disease their whole life. If you don't get actively involved and take responsibility for where you're at and who you are, and take the steps that are required, it's unlikely that you're going to get well. You need to be actively involved and participate with your healthcare team, because I do advocate having a team, having a doctor if that's what that means for you, or maybe it means acupuncturist, or maybe a massage therapist, or chiropractic. You can build a team or nutritionists or health coaches or different mentors. Maybe you find somebody who's been through cancer themselves and they can coach you, they can help you. So just know that you have options, and there's so much I could share, so much of my story, but this video is getting so long already. I might just have to keep it going for a little bit. When you're thinking about, okay, let me go back to a little bit of my mom's story and stuff. She was always in and out, getting the treatments on time, and she would get stressed out if she was ever to miss a treatment. She would have to call in and be like, oh my gosh, I can't make it. And in my view, it's like, just why even be stressed about it? Why even worry about it? And again, I'm not saying that she should have done anything different necessarily, but these are learning lessons. It's like, I wouldn't be stressed at all. Just call them and say, I can't make it. No reason to be. And I've seen this with other patients too. They get stressed and feel like they have to apologize for not making their treatments or their appointment visit. And it's like, to heck with it. Maybe you were having a blast somewhere and then you get worried and stressed that you have an appointment. I'm saying that's unhealthy. That's not good. If you're stressed about going to your appointment, maybe just say, forget it. And again, I don't even know if I can say stuff like that in today's world with this free speech and these thought police everywhere. That I can even mention an idea like that. Because one of the big points is when my mom passed, number one, I was very serious. I wanted to help my mom eat healthy. I wanted her to, do all this stuff. And I think I was too focused on the cancer. And one of the big lessons that I learned is like, I wouldn't be so focused on the cancer. I would be more focused on health and living life. And I know that might sound crazy to you or whatever. Maybe it really makes a lot of sense to you. I don't know. But that's one of the big lessons that I learned is like people who get well, they just focus on living. A lot of times, I've known a guy who was diagnosed with cancer when he was like 18. And he went through the treatments. I think he got the surgery and it was colon cancer. And he did the chemo, couple rounds at least, and he was just getting destroyed, having a hell of a time. And he just said, to heck with this, done with this, and he went on and lived his life. He partied. He didn't even care really about being healthy. He was partying. I think he was smoking cigs, drinking tons of alcohol, getting it on with all kinds of women, and partying. He just was living. He was like, I don't even care. I'm just going to live my life, and if I die, I die. And guess what? That guy's still living today, well over 10 years after that. He still has the cancer. He still goes in and gets checkups and, like every 6 months or something, and they say, yeah, it's still there, but it's not doing anything. And he goes, okay, see you next time. And he doesn't care. He doesn't go to the frickin' visits every couple weeks. See, this is something that people need to know, is the more medical attention you get, the more times you go and get your visits and your checkups and your prescriptions, the sooner you're going to check out, statistically. Okay? So, our medical system's just rogue. It's rogue. It's out of hand. And we know that there's a whole history to that, how it became what it is today, and it's called standard of care. We have standard oil, we have standard medicine, we have standard tuning, we have all kinds of standards, the standard, all kinds of different things. That word standard has to do with the Rockefeller Foundation. That's a whole nother subject. So, but it's like one thing is, a lot of people who do well with cancer, believe it or not, are those who are just kind of like, yeah, whatever, I'm just going to live my life, and if it kills me, it kills me. And they don't worry too much about it. But it's the people who might be so, focused in on it and need to be eating precisely this perfect anti-cancer diet, and they need to get this amount of exercise a day, and they need to I need to meditate, and they do all this stuff out of discipline and strictness, Sometimes that's more harmful than just being like, hey, I'm gonna go get a freaking cheeseburger. I don't care. I'm gonna drink some alcohol or whatever it is. So I just really think that relaxing, finding the joy, being able to laugh, doing the things that you're excited about, asking those questions, what am I excited about? Have I been living up to my best self up until this point? And be brutally honest with yourself. It's hard, but a lot of times these diseases are alarm systems to just alarm you to I need to change, I need to get better. I can overcome this. This is a challenge. I'm going to befriend it. I'm going to embrace it, and I'm going to be a hero of my life, and I'm going to overcome this. And not so much the mentality that they have today of fighting cancer. I'm going to fight it. Yeah, we're going to kill this cancer. I don't necessarily think that that's really a good thing. I'm probably going to cut this video off now because it's getting a little long. Let me just review my notes and see if there's any big point that I wanted to leave you with. I didn't even really go too much into the story. I'll have to maybe talk about that later, kind of the things that she went through, but there are similarities. There's actually a personality type of people who tend to get cancer, and they tend to be the people who are described as being too nice. They're people pleasers. They do everything for other people at the sacrifice of themselves. If they want to say no, they don't say no. No, I can't come out tonight. They push it, there is a personality type to cancer. If you're interested in that, look it up. You can change kind of your behaviors, your mentality, and your moods, your emotions. I'll get into more solutions and kind of getting on with a healthy life. But I would just encourage you to try to focus on being healthy more, because here's another point I just wanted to leave you with. Bernie Siegel pointed this out too, is that cancer docs, they get cancer at a much higher rate than any other type of doctor. Why is that? Probably because they're focusing so much on cancer, the disease, And I was immersed with what is cancer and trying to study it, and then I kind of gave it up. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to focus on health, And I think that that's a better way to go, because that's what we want. Wherever we're looking, wherever we fix our attention, that's where we're heading. You don't have to believe that. I don't care if you say, oh, that's a bunch of, positive thinking, whatever, BS. That is the truth, okay? If you're driving a car and you're looking this way, you're not really going to be, you're going to drift over there. Like you see, somebody walking by and you look, you're going to tend to drift over there, right? When you're looking this way, you're going to keep in line with that. But when you look over here, oh, you're probably going to go that way. So it's like that in life. Wherever we focus our attention, we're going to tend to be going in that direction. So try to focus on health. What gets you excited? What uplifts you? Laugh. What is laughing? Look at the people around you. How can you just enjoy more? One person who's helped me out a ton is Anita Morjani, and I believe that this message was given to me from my mother on the other side, because and you might think that that's crazy, whatever, but when my mom passed away, literally the next day I came across Anita Morjani's story, the next day, and it blew my mind. It was like everything that I needed to know before but I just found now. And I believe that it was a message. It was something that was given to me probably from her, because it was my mom. It was the story of my mom, where she was a people pleaser. She was afraid. She was fearful. You know, she was stressed, and she was trying to do everything right, and she was, but perhaps lacking in the just living and loving life. And I'm not saying that she didn't do that. She did. She had a lot of enjoyment and love of life, but Anita Moorjani's story is very amazing, and she shares a lot of phenomenal tips. She died of cancer, okay, and that's not an opinion or a story or a belief. It's medically documented. Seen the pictures, seen the documents. She died of cancer, and she came back, and her tumors dissolved within days. Her tumors dissolved. She had big tumors all over her body, and she's still living healthy as heck today. So I would really recommend check her out, and I'll probably talk about her more in a future video. But I hope you are well. I want you to be well. Thank you for watching. Peace be with you.